Are you feeling like a zombie lately? Tired of the same old energy drinks promising the world but delivering the jitters and a crash? Look no further than Sneak Energy, your secret weapon for all your energy needs. With all natural ingredients, Sneak will give you all the energy you need to boost through your day without feeling like a lab rat on caffeine. Don't believe us? Try it yourself and see what a difference it can make to your routine. So what are you waiting for? Hit the link in the description and pick up your Sneak Starter Pack today. Now enjoy the clip. So James Ducker, Telegraph, Manchester United correspondent. Manchester United bidders will attend detailed presentations at Old Trafford next week as the Glazers are said to remain determined sellers at the right price. Executives will outline opportunities and challenges. So I want to home in on this first of all because it's a positive on a Friday morning. Hi Mark, can you call Keith Daly a Pratt as you just did? So basically the Glazers are determined sellers. Now this show this morning, you might just need to fasten your seatbelt just a little bit because it's going to be a little bit heavy around finance, but ultimately if you listen and follow, if you're like Teacher Bridge, you will probably come out of this with a little bit of concern, but a little bit of positivity as well. So what the Telegraph are saying is that the Glazers are still determined sellers. And as we know, and I'm not going to go over this because there's loads of new stuff coming out that we can talk about. We've spent the last couple of days talking about how the Rain Group are going to host Qatar offer and Ineos offer through Sir Jim next week. They're going to be shown Carrington. They're going to be shown contracts, plans for the summer. One of the interesting things that the Telegraph mention is that they're also, Elmaz is very happy because we won. Thank you, Elmaz. They're also going to be shown how £1 billion worth of spend on infrastructure will lead to big market growth and, business growth. Which is very interesting that that's coming out. So basically, if we get new owners end of this month, you see a great summer transfer window. Irfan, can I come back to that, mate? So basically, what United are going to do next week when they're meeting up with Altani's people and Sir Jim's people and everybody else, is they're going to be saying, if we do this, this and this, this and this will happen. And it's all about money. So if we build a new stadium or rebuild Old Trafford, we invest another $1 billion into the facilities and the infrastructure. And that's what's being pitched to these investors or to these bidders next week so that the Glazers can hit this $5 billion that will make them walk away. And basically, when it says determined sellers, the Glazers are determined to sell and they want $5 billion. That's the basic story going around at the moment. I think most bids have been around $4.5 billion. So another $500 million and the Glazers will take it and they'll walk. That's what next week is all about. I take a lot of positivity that the Glazers do want to go. And I'll explain why. Because if you didn't want to go, why are you inviting people who want to buy your entire club? Why are you inviting them to your house to go, if you renovate this, if you build a swimming pool, if you do this, if you do that, it's going to be a great place and it's going to get more and more popular. If you're looking to stay, you wouldn't do that. You'd probably keep that stuff back and go, if you give me this, I can do this, that and the other. So it's a completely different stance. I think the Glazers are looking, don't hold me to it, but I do feel that. And I think that when you get stories like that coming out, that they're still determined sellers, and then you hear about what's going to happen next week when the Qatar and Sir Jim bids come over, it's a pitch. It's a pitch about if you invest this, if you rebuild this, that's revenue, that's there. If you do this with the squad and Ten Hag, that's improvement there. Look at what we've done without that. Look at what we'll do with this. It's a sales pitch. And if you've ever watched The Apprentice with Alan Sugar, if you look at that scenario, the Glazers, Murta and Arnold, they're actually pitching to Sir Alan. It's like Dragon's Den. You've got Sir Jim, you've got Qatar, you've got Elliott Investment Group, you've got whoever else. They're all sat there while they're being pitched to. And it's for them to go, I'm in. I'll give you $2 billion for 30% of your business, or I'll give you this for $5 billion for the whole lot. That's what's happening next week. So that's encouraging, without a shadow of a doubt. But I think at this point it's important to bring in what Simon Stone has said, that the Elliott Group, and there are others, were at the match last night, which is a concern, and they are interested in not buying Manchester United. They want to offer up equity investment or support to rebuild the stadium. That is a concern to me. It is a nightmare to me because that is not what Qatar are offering. That is not what Sir Jim are offering. They're not offering that. Like, look, as it says in the Telegraph, Qatar want to buy out the Glazers and Man United's minority shareholders in their entirety, clear the debts, and invest in a new stadium, training ground, and playing squad. That's not the way. That's what they want to do. So Jim, who's been advised by Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, does not plan to load any fresh debt onto the club, but will take debt to buy the club and hold on to it himself. And he hopes that his local ties could prove significant. According to their latest accounts, United Stand current debt is 680 million. So presumably what the Telegraph are saying there is that Sir Jim's going to take debt to buy the club. He'll keep that debt personally with Ineos, and he won't load any more debt onto the club. But he's not going to clear the 680 million. So, you make your choice on whether you like Sir Jim's bid or whether you like Qatar's bid. I don't actually care who likes what. It doesn't matter. But either of those bids are better than what's on the table with this Elliott Group. So Simon Stone is saying that the Elliott Group, and you can basically say this with any investment group, because the Telegraph goes on to mention as well that, here we go, so US hedge funds, Elliott Management and financiers Oaktree Capital and MSD Partners have also submitted proposals to Rain, offering to provide funding for potential suitors. It's not clear whether their offers are still being considered. Well, the Elliott Group were at the game last night, and this concerns me, and I think this is a nightmare situation. Charlie says, Qatar have offered a full buyout plus clearing the debt. If that's not accepted in the room, they will feel insulted and walk away. And is there a financial cap on dividends if investors come in? How will they be repaid? Will they have to share dividends with investors? I think that's one of the most insightful comments we've ever had, because look, the Telegraph goes on to mention this as well. It's a very good piece by James Ducker, and I forget who else he's wrote it with, but it's a very good piece. And it goes on to say this, that unlike the fraught Chelsea sale last summer, talks will remain a fearlessly kept secret as their bidding process heats up over the coming days. And bidders have agreed to non-disclosure agreements. And also, bidders are also preparing to receive more detailed financial information in a data room over the coming days. The two parties are the only two to have gone public, as we know. But I think you make a great point about the Chelsea situation, because when Chelsea were bought, I don't think Todd Boehly and his group can take dividends out of the club for 10 years. So that's a good and a bad thing. So let me just remove this off the screen for a minute and sort of summarise where we are, because I know on the morning show it's a news show and people are tuning in willy-nilly. But the reality is it is fresh news, but it is financial heavy. And I suppose if I had to summarise it down for you, you've got the situation this morning with the updates that we've got. The Glazers are determined to sell, and I'll tell you why that is in a bit. The Glazers are determined to sell. Qatar wants to buy the whole club. Sir Jim wants to buy the whole club, but will probably have a bit of debt with it. And then you've got these investment groups where Elliott were there last night, who want to invest, equity investment, or fund a stadium.